Get him on the ground. Get him on the ground. Sir.
It is the #1 public health challenge of our time.
Sir.
It's not a poor people thing anymore. It's not a inner city ghetto drug anymore. It's everywhere.
It's hard to even recognize some of these people, and they've lost a lot of their humanity down here.
Tomorrow's not promised.
It's not heroin that's killing our people. It's fentanyl.
I'm not gonna die from this. Like, I'm not gonna die from this.
It was like we went from 20 overdoses to 80 overdoses in a matter of a month, and we're like, what the hell happened?
I feel like it's a waste of my life. It's a fucking waste of everything.
I would say that fentanyl is a horseman of the apocalypse, and it's the one named death.
For decades, Interstate 95 has been notorious for its role in the illegal drug trade in America. Stretching from Florida to Maine, this corridor gives cartels easy entry to major cities. We first met Anna 2 years ago. She was a new resident on Baltimore's back streets of addiction.
A lot of people walking by.
All right, come on.
Anna was recently released from jail after serving 2 weeks for prostitution, which means 2 weeks of no heroin.
What time is it?
And since then, she claims to have only taken pills.
What time is it?
Is there something in it?
Barely.
You want it, I'll go grab it.
The last 2 years, I guess nothing's changed, but everything's changed. I know that sounds really weird, but I'm still down here. I'm still jumping from house to house. I'm still with the same guy. I feel a little trapped. I'm scared to shoot up again, but I know eventually I probably will if I stay down here. I'm not sure if I see my future right now. I mean, really, when I think about it, I don't know what I'm gonna do in 3 years. I don't know what I'm gonna do tomorrow. I don't know what I'm gonna do in an hour. I mean, all I can do is hope that it will be the right thing, you know, and not what I'm doing now.
This is gang-run West Baltimore, the epicenter of Baltimore's opioid epidemic. Patty, a former addict, formed Angels of Addiction just after her son died of a heroin overdose.
Here, walk on my feet.
A lifeline to the lost, she has fed and clothed addicts and their families on these streets for years.
Anytime, 24/7. I lost my only son in 2002, and God blessed me with many, many children, and it's an honor to serve them. And they're very precious people. A lot suffer from the disease of addiction. It's a very big problem, an epidemic here. I could never count throughout the years how many people that I've helped or known that have died from this disease. At least 100 people in the last few years. It's sad because there might, you know, next time we come, somebody might say, oh, so-and-so didn't make it. That happens often, especially since this fentanyl's been out. Fentanyl is very dangerous because it's stronger than the heroin, and people are overdosing on it, and it's, you know, really scary and very alarming, and we're losing a lot of people.
I chase fentanyl. I chase car fentanyl because it's the only dope I feel anymore. But it's a big problem because it's so powerful. People that are have been clean for years and just recently decide to relapse, they end up ODing, you know, off of a half or a quarter pill.
So what it is, it's not heroin. I used to get high. I don't get high no more. I'm just addicted to the cut, fentanyl.
They stick it in capsules, and then you stick it in your arm and not knowing what you're getting. And it could be a little bit of nothing or a whole lot of too much. And I've had friends drop several, more than several, handfuls that got a little bit too much.
Every day coming down here and seeing my friends, I would hear about one of them overdosing or dying. It's very dangerous and it's killing a lot of people.
The sickness of addiction is when you hear people are overdosing and dying. The addict wants to know where's that stuff because they want the stronger, longer lasting stuff. But they don't realize that that's that next hit that may be the last.
The bottle's empty.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it.
Probably 9 out of 10 people do fentanyl and don't even know it. None of us know what we're doing. A lot of the people that we know like either died or moved or went to jail. Some go to rehab, but they always come back.
Everybody out here is hooked on fentanyl. It's not really so much the heroin. Like I said, it's not even in it. The fentanyl is what everybody's in now.
I feel like I'm not gonna leave my boyfriend ever. And if he's down here, I'm down here. Either he goes to jail, then I go to jail. We've never been clean together since I've been with him. Well, since we've gotten high.
Said she hasn't used no needles, so I'm proud of her. She's been doing good. But she always threatens me, so that's her threat. And that's break my heart. I told her it'd break my heart.
We meet Anna as she searches for her morning fix. Addiction seems to be fighting back.
What? Hi. Yes, I'm fine. You don't have to ask. I said, no, you're not going to. I'm fine.
was your night?
Great.
Tell us what happened.
Nothing. Last thing I feel like doing is fucking talking right now. Yeah, I'm still here.
Anna and Dave squat in abandoned houses, moving frequently to avoid being found by landlords or police.
The landlord ended up actually coming while we were inside. So I had to hurry up and go hide in one of the rooms and then escape out the house when he wasn't looking. So I, again, got interrupted out of my sleep.
What did you spend your money on?
I got a pill. He got a pill. And then we each bought a crack after we got everything else. Like, that we needed. Like gas and stuff.
What were the pills?
I mean, they're dope. What else?
Then you said you had to go get some more money. How'd you do that?
Go get a date.
Anna prostitutes herself for the money needed to buy drugs for herself and her boyfriend Dave.
Never ends. You know? I wasn't even planning on going outside. It's just I don't like to wake up and not have any money. So because of that, it took me forever to get a date.
What time of day were you out trying to get a date?
It was night time.
What time of night?
So like 5 in the morning. But I didn't go till like 1 in the morning. I can't remember what time it was. But I usually go in and out. I don't just... What I mean is I usually go outside, 20 minutes later I'll get a date, then I hurry, get the money, either rob them or just do the stupid date and come back home. And then I go back out if we need more money. Or it depends. Sometimes I meet people that want to do drugs and we hang out.
Most people when they're 23 have a goal in life, have wishes, have desires. Do you have any?
No. I don't plan on it no more.
Why not?
Like I said, because it seems like it's too late to fix.
Anna still claims that she has not injected heroin since her release from jail. Her body tells a different story. She heads off in search for a place to stay for the night. But that wasn't her first priority.
Name's Nathan O'Brien. I'm from Kentucky.
My name's Olivia Light, from Oak Park, California.
My name's Ed. I'm from New Haven, Connecticut.
I'm Johnny Montesano. I'm from Long Island, New York.
My name's Al. I'm from Ocean County, New Jersey.
My name's Joe Wilkins. I'm from Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
My name is Tommy. I'm from Birmingham, Alabama.
My name's Millie. I'm from Currituck, North Carolina.
I was addicted to heroin.
I was addicted to heroin and prescription opiates.
I was addicted to heroin.
I struggled with heroin for 4 years.
I'm a recovering heroin addict.
Struggled with prescription pills and heroin.
My addiction was pain pills and heroin.
I struggled with heroin.
Over the course of the last 2 years, I wouldn't say that it got better. I would say that it's gotten worse. We see more and more patients coming in that have experienced multiple overdoses prior to coming in. I really don't see an end in it. I don't see it getting better at all.
Jody has dealt with the opioid crisis since she was a child. Her mother is a lifelong addict, and she now runs an addiction recovery center in Florida.
This addiction changed me from being a talented, ambitious young kid into basically a degenerate, just a shadow.
It took my family, my friends, my freedom. It took everything.
My addiction took my self-worth, my dignity, my self-respect.
My health, my friends and family, my education, money.
Nobody wanted anything to do with me. I couldn't get a job. I couldn't keep a job.
Most of my family members consider me dead.
I'm thankful that we have a place where patients can come seek help in a safe environment to start working on the reasons why they turn to drugs. But every single day, it's a multitude of new people. It's like the floodgates have opened and it's just nonstop.
I've been clean for 4.5 years.
In 2 months, I'll have 5 years.
Currently, I've been clean over 100 days.
Just over 1 year.
I've been clean for the 23rd of this month will be 60 days.
Since March 20th, 2017.
I mean, the date resonates in my brain, March 19, 2016. That's when I got clean. And it wasn't easy, but it was the most glorious experience of my life.
Brittany seems to have traveled a long way from her days of addiction, but the beaches of Jacksonville, Florida are only a couple of hours' drive from Orlando, where Jody first introduced us to Brittany 2 years ago.
When Brittany admitted to the recovery village, she absolutely was ready for treatment and admitted to the fact that she had an addiction problem. She had OD'd several times, very, very close calls, and she was ready.
At this table, and nodding off, as they call it, nodding and falling asleep and then pretty much drooling, and it was horrible. It was really devastating to see that.
I was sick for 3 months, like throwing up constantly. I thought it was a bad flu. I got all these different tests done. One of them was a pregnancy test. I remember her coming back telling me, "You're positive." And I was like, "I'm positive for what?" And she told me I was pregnant, and I immediately started bawling.
Brittany had a baby girl, beautiful, sweet baby girl.
Say cheese, baby girl, say cheese, say cheese.
And about a month after that, sadly, Brittany relapsed again. And this was very devastating.
Yeah, my mom, me and my mom got in a fight earlier in that morning. My mom said something she didn't mean, and I was already in a very bad mental place. I went out to get formula. I ended up at a gas station, and an old dealer ended up being at that same gas station. I ended up purchasing a bag, but I came home and we had a nice dinner, held my baby, I sat right here.
We had been sitting here at the table, chit-chatting, and the baby was snoozing. Brittany had asked me to, that she wanted to go to the bathroom. So the baby started waking up and I held the baby, and then Brittany was in the bathroom.
I remember sitting on the toilet and talking to my mom from the living room, and I snorted the whole bag. My mom's in the other room with my child, and I just kind of nodded off, and I felt okay for a little bit. And my mom's voice got distant, and then everything went black.
And I have the baby in my arms. I go into the bathroom, and she is passed out, gurgling and drooling from the mouth, leaning against the wall, sitting on the toilet. It was devastating. It was scary. I had to get her to wake up. And I ran into the living room. The baby was sleeping again, put her down in her little bed, and ran back into the bathroom, shaking and screaming at Brittany and smacking her on her face, trying to get her to come out of it. And she finally came out of it. I'm at the same time trying to call 911.
And I came out of it to my mom holding my baby in her arms, on the phone with paramedics, trying to bring me to.
I just felt nothing but anger. Anger, frustration again. And I was so angry at her. So angry and so hurt and so confused how she could do that.
I did not know what happened, but once I started putting things together, I was just kind of in disbelief at myself. So, yeah. Wasn't thinking about my daughter. I didn't care about my mom or how she felt. I just felt so depressed and not good enough. Like, I just felt like my daughter didn't deserve me. She deserved better. It felt like my mother could raise her. I mean, it's just, but yeah.
You just don't think that they're gonna do this again. Especially now, especially with a baby, especially knowing that you have that beautiful little baby. How could you do this? This drug pulls them in like none other. It steals their dreams. It steals their lives. It's almost stole my grandbaby's mother from us again. I've told Brittany that one of the saddest things I would ever have to do would be to have to tell my granddaughter about her mother, that her mother was an addict. And she tried very hard to get past this addiction, but was unable to, and died from it.
In 2017, we had just under 72,000 Americans die of drug overdoses.
Jay, look at me.
That's a phenomenal number. It's almost hard to imagine.
Taking drugs? I have no idea. He went into the bathroom.
It is the #1 public health challenge of our time.
Opioids are now the biggest drug epidemic in American history. The number of deaths from opioid abuse have skyrocketed over the past 15 years,
killing tens of thousands of Americans every year.
That's more deaths than from car accidents and from guns.
Emergency services overwhelmed. Another family burying a loved one.
She overdosed in her car while her 2-year-old daughter was in the back seat.
In certain age groups between 25 and 34 in the United States, 20% of all deaths are due to opioid overdoses. Of that 72,000, the majority are opioids, and the majority of the opioids are the synthetic products such as fentanyl.
Fentanyl is taking the opioid epidemic to a new level of urgency.
Fentanyl, a drug more powerful than heroin.
It's 50 to 100 times more potent than morphine.
Fentanyl, so potent you could die with the syringe still in your arm.
So potent, so incredibly potent that it only takes a few milligrams to cause a death. And now we see fentanyl lacing not only the heroin supply, but we see it in cocaine and methamphetamine and all sorts of drugs because it's dirt cheap. If heroin's the devil, to continue with the biblical analogy, I would say that fentanyl is a horseman of the apocalypse, and it's the one named death, because it just brings death.
Yeah, if you just go straight here, I'll show you some of the more affected areas.
Kensington is Philadelphia's ground zero for opioids, and it has just been declared a disaster zone. Dan's family has also battled with addiction. He now fights on behalf of those still struggling.
I mean, this becomes what the neighborhood is. I mean, you see, most people around here you're going to see are high. You know, so the neighborhood is almost entirely consistent of people who are abusing. You can't walk through this neighborhood without being offered drugs. It's hard to even recognize some of these people. It just seems like they're in a jungle, and they've lost a lot of their humanity down here. Heroin's been in Philadelphia for decades. This is not a new story. It's just that recently the death toll has gotten so out of hand, and the farther you look, the more you realize how truly desperate things have become. I believe in 2016 we had 272 homicides and over 900 overdose deaths. Last year we had around 300 homicides and 1,200 overdoses. So it went from being 3 times the murder rate to 4 times the murder rate in 1 year. If you look at the charts of what opioids are killing people or what drugs are killing people, in recent years, fentanyl has just taken off literally just like a rocket. But now, because of how deep some of these people are in the throes of addiction and how high their tolerance is, fentanyl has become introduced slowly into the mix so that people can get high again. Because what some people don't realize is that a lot of these people who are using drugs on a regular basis aren't necessarily using it to get high. They're using it to maintain their addiction, to make their headache go away, to sort of regulate. Any amount of fentanyl would kill most people who aren't addicted almost instantly. If it continues to get worse, like, where does it go from here?
I am a heroin user. I've been using heroin for about 20 years.
Alex is just one of the 70,000 active heroin users currently living in Philadelphia.
This ain't no life for nobody. I mean, this is like the bottom of the barrel right here. This ain't for nobody. I don't wish this on my worst enemy. I generally have to score about 6 times a day to keep myself well. Just to be able to function, really. That's all it comes down to, is just to be able to function. I hope that it's fentanyl because I've been doing it for quite some time, and heroin that's actually heroin will not get me well. My body actually craves the fentanyl. It's a different high, it's a different feeling, and I'm not really sure what the difference is between the heroin and the fentanyl. I don't know. But it's what my body craves. And without it, I'll be just as sick as I am now. I feel like it's a waste of my life. I mean, I got a lot of people in my corner who care about me, a lot of people in my, in my family that love and care about me and want to see me do well. And I'm not doing nothing except sticking a needle in my arm every day, all day long. Waste. Waste of time, waste of energy, waste of money. It's a fucking waste of everything. It's the waste. Not like that, but my addiction has definitely made me that way. It makes me feel alone. It makes me feel vulnerable. Makes me feel scared. It makes me feel unsure of what my purpose here is.
Manchester emergency.
Request for an ambulance in Manchester. It's the Shell gas station. The patient is in the bathroom. He is overdosed.
It's going to be for a female in her 20s. My caller states he went in to clean, found her overdosing in the bathtub. She is not conscious.
The caller states that she is overdosed. The patient's going to be just outside the church on the side.
Where are the people located?
She said they're in the middle of the street. 2 people are overdosing.
For a male in his 50s, found not conscious, not breathing. There is a needle next to him.
35-year-old male. He is not conscious, not breathing, overdose.
I don't know what to do. Stop talking for a moment.
I don't know what's happening to this generation. I look out my window, I'm looking at ground zero for the United States for fentanyl, and fentanyl deaths. It's like, what the heck am I seeing?
Truck 1 ALS 3 Delta response.
outside of 340 Hanover Street for a man down, possible overdose.
We went from 20 overdoses to 80 overdoses in a matter of a month, and we're like, what the hell happened here?
Well, one on thing.
Why did it hit us? Because of synthetic heroin. It was fentanyl. We don't have a heroin problem, we have a fentanyl problem. And we really realized that back 2015 when we got hit so hard. But we've been chasing it ever since, trying to get ahead of this, and it's really tough to get ahead of something like this.
Shut off my painting. Yep. Okay.
I talk to these guys all the time. I'm down here, I'm pretty invested in my personnel, and I worry about what they do. I go to a lot of the calls that they go on because I just want to see how they're handling things and make sure that, I know there's going to be some compassion fatigue. It's really difficult to see this. I mean, when I grew up in the fire service, we never saw this much, death. He's not unconscious, but you don't really know, when he used, what's going to happen. They don't want to hit him with Narcan right away because if they do, he's going to be sick. Right now, they want to get him out as slowly as possible. So what they're going to probably do is we'll get him in the back of the ambulance, get him to the hospital, and monitor him, and probably give him some Narcan via IV. So.
All right, Dalen. Probably should go to the hospital, get you checked out there.
I don't think I need to move off.
Yeah, you're not.
If we leave you, and you drop again, and nobody finds you, that's how people die. Yeah. We're not going to play that game, okay?
All right, give me your hand there. We'll take you. We're going to walk you back here. There. This gentleman was seen on the sidewalk, unconscious, very limited breathing, and had just done heroin, as he reported. He was actually one of the honest ones, where he had admitted to doing it. Sometimes they come up and they don't admit to doing the heroin or fentanyl, and this time he did, and we know we got to take him to the hospital to have him checked out and have him lay down somewhere else where no one can find him and pass him away.
You go on calls like that in this neighborhood, and it's the aftermath of, you ask him where the needle is. I threw it in the street. Okay, well now, where is it? Who plays with it? Is it an adult that picks it up and throws it away? Or is it a child that plays with it? Then it turns into, he said he did half fentanyl, half heroin mixed in a bag. So the little baggie that he has, where's that? He probably threw it on the ground. A kid plays with that, sees it, is it candy, whatever. It's that whole, from my personal standpoint, it's frustrating because you see it all the time, every single day.
Since this crisis has hit, we go out on these types of calls over and over and over again, all day long. So 10% of the overdoses that we get called to for an opiate results in death.
So how'd you make it over here? You just walked over? Yeah. Have you ever overdosed before? Hey, Doug, can you get up? Okay.
You gotta. You can't stay here.
Dude, we were talking and having like a full conversation, and you just fell asleep like mid-conversation.
Douglas is obviously overdosing on opiates. He admitted to using fentanyl. So yeah. And this guy needs help. He needs somewhere to go. And like I told him, it's like there's help for him. But it's getting to these people. And and hey, I don't judge these people. You don't know where they came from. You don't know what kind of trauma was in their lives. So he needs help more than anything else. He's sick. So.
With no increase in budgets or personnel, Manchester Fire Department now spends 70% of their time responding to drug-related calls.
Layla, 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 wake up.
We got here, the police officer came by the park, was doing some surveillance, Gentleman here saw her passed out, called 911, unresponsive. We came here. She sold all the symptoms of an overdose. Right away, we administered Narcan, started breathing for her.
He's going to give her another Narcan. So this will be the second one that we put in to try to, because she didn't respond to the first one, so we're going to put in a second one. If this one doesn't work, they'll probably do an IV and then put it in that way.
Narcan is used to block the effects of opioids in an attempt to reverse overdoses.
Now they're going to put the Narcan in by IV because the two nasals got her to come around a little bit, but not fully. So.
Oh, there we go. Hi, Layla.
Careful, Layla.
It's just unfortunate, daytime at a park, you think you're going for a walk in the park, next thing is an overdose. So.
If this crisis right now doesn't worry you, then there's something wrong. You're not paying attention to it. Every day, people are out on the highway, driving down that I-95 corridor to the source city or source cities where these organizations have these drugs readily available. It's all day long. It's Monday through Friday and on the weekends, and it's nighttime, daytime, and during business hours. The product is always available. Look, New Hampshire, as of this morning, hasn't had a heroin overdose death. It's not heroin that's killing our people. It's fentanyl. And it's changed the game. It's cheap. It's easy to manufacture. For these cartels, they don't have to worry about opium anymore. They don't have to worry about the plant, sun, water, how they're going to grow these growing cycles. They don't worry about any of that. They can mass produce this stuff in the same labs that they have set up, that they've used when they were making methamphetamine or any other drug. And they're able to manufacture it faster and cheaper.
Working with local law enforcement, the DEA has identified dealers operating from a park.
He's getting to the blue BMW. He picked up, he's looking around. All right, two-door blue BMW is leaving.
So you can see how this works. We're set up in the park. We're sort of at a position where we can see what's happening. We see customers coming in.
And he's coming to the park, New Hampshire plates.
They're getting served. They're getting back in the car.
Then New Hampshire plates on the other guys.
Our guys are calling it out to the surveillance units. Surveillance units are taking them away to a place where, whether it's in New Hampshire or Massachusetts, we can safely make these traffic stops.
Straight ahead right there. Okay, brother, we have another New Hampshire customer, guys. Another New Hampshire customer arriving. Hey, Betty, guys. Anybody available? Have a vehicle possibly going on 95. Still laying there right here. All right, do your thing, homie.
We're up here in New Hampshire now. We just stopped a car that we saw pick up from that same park. And this woman, too, had the stuff stuffed inside of her body cavity. She's pulling it out for the troopers. Here's the evidence here that they just removed from this female here on this traffic stop. Again, fentanyl driving up into New Hampshire to pollute our communities. The cartels will never change what they're doing. They have found an avenue now with fentanyl where they can make so much money. The other thing is we're seeing, and this really frightens me, is the dealers are now mixing fentanyl with everything. We're seeing an increase of fentanyl mixed with cocaine, fentanyl mixed with methamphetamine. And if you think about it, it doesn't even make sense because really they do opposite things in the body and in the brain. But to the dealer, they almost look at this fentanyl now as a magic dust that's just a money maker. They think if I just put a little bit of this in there, I'll be able to spread that product further and make more money. So they're trying to figure out how to get that recipe to the right point where they can still addict everybody, but have them come back as much as they can. And that's really what's happened here. They've killed more people than war has.
like the person I am today. I used to hate myself.
When we met Stephen, I didn't know him previously. He didn't want to hear anything about recovery. He didn't want nothing to do with the conversation, even though he was kind and sweet and respectful. I knew he just wanted to get up and go get high that day. He had it written all over his face.
It kind of just fed itself. It just took everything from me, and I gave it everything I had, willingly. It kind of took control. I'm not the same person, you know what I mean? I'm not that person. I believe drugs, heroin especially, completely changes who you are. It'll make you do things that you never thought you'd do. Make you into somebody that you're not, you know?
Steve had hit rock bottom and just accepted an offer from Jody to leave Pennsylvania for the first time in his life and fly to Florida for treatment.
Good?
Yeah, I've never been before, so it's a new experience.
Okay. Feeling okay?
Yeah, all right.
Steve and I have kept in touch here and there throughout the course of the last 2 years. I know that he's still clean and sober. I know that he's living in Kentucky. You know, I haven't spoken to him on the phone. We just text every couple of months.
Oh my God.
Hi.
Oh, how'd I know he had some tricks up his sleeve?
Hello.
Oh, hi, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Oh my God, look how healthy you look, boy. You look amazing.
Yeah?
Uh-huh.
I'm glad to see you.
I'm glad to see you.
Oh, that's awesome. That's such a surprise. Come check out the house.
All right, sounds great. So you left Florida, went back to Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh area, and wasn't gonna work, or?
I had an opportunity to move here, and I kind of jumped on it. You know what I mean? For the first time in my life, I was able to just pick up and move. Before, I was so afraid to leave.
You were afraid to leave what? Afraid to leave?
I was afraid to leave the area that I was in because I didn't know where to get the next one, because I wouldn't know where to get it.
Right.
If I left.
Right. So the drugs kept you captive in so many different ways.
It kept me there in the same area. Now I had the freedom that I didn't have to stay around the area because I didn't know where I was going to get the next one.
Does it exist here? Like, it typically exists everywhere?
It exists. It's everywhere.
Right. So, I mean, it's happening here?
Yeah, it definitely is here. I've seen it a little bit. I know an addict when I see one. It's definitely here.
You have to go look for it.
If
it
I
doesn't come knocking at your door,
yeah, it doesn't
or
come
drop you off
door,
like a pizza, right?
Yeah, like back home,
Yeah.
it was right in your face, and
Sure.
it came and found you. It's not a poor people thing anymore. It's not a inner city ghetto drug anymore. It's everywhere, and it's killing people left and right every single day. Something's got to be done. It's gotta change. What's it gonna take? You know what I mean? Someone in a seat of power like that losing their child to it before they open their eyes to it. Like something's got to give now, or eventually there's gonna be no coming back from it. I just hope we haven't reached that point already.
My story doesn't end here. This isn't the last time anyone's gonna see me. Just I'm not gonna die from this. Like, I'm not gonna die from this. I want my daughter to be proud of me. I want people to be proud of me. You know, I want to be proud of myself.
If I was your mother right now, what would you want to say to me?
I would tell her I'm sorry. I can't tell her, hey, wait. A couple more years, I'll get better. I can't tell her that. I don't know. That's what sucks about this. Tomorrow's not promised. For her or for me.
My greatest hope is that I can beat the addiction. I can just go back to being Alex. That I could be a good son, a good brother, a good father. That's like my greatest hope. That I can beat this, walk away from it, and just not look back.
We lost contact with Alex, so went back to search for him. But he was nowhere to be found.